In a presidential campaign, it's important that a candidate and their supporters and teams are able to do three things. They have to point out their record, they have to point out their vision, and they have to draw a contrast with their opponent. These things are very important, but you have to know how to do these things as well. In the past, most of the successful incumbent presidents have been able to do these things. They might have emphasized one or two of the three things I mentioned, but they've often all come back to the three. President Bush emphasized his record of defending this country and providing historic tax relief that led to economic growth and also the Medicare prescription drug benefit for seniors. He ran on continuing those programs, also ran on Social Security reform, continuing to pursue energy independence and a lot more. President Clinton ran on balancing the budget and reforming welfare. He ran against the Republicans, what he called proposed efforts to slash Medicare. Both of these gentlemen won re-election. Both of them 4 years earlier had also been able to capitalize on their records as prospective governors of Arkansas and Texas, and both of them portrayed their opponents as part of the problem in Washington, D.C. Now, 4 years ago, Barack Obama ran as a relative outsider. He tried to tie John McCain to the Bush administration, and frankly, Obama did talk about a vision for the country. He didn't have much of a record to run on, but he tried to capitalize on his roots. So I think Obama actually did do a good job from a political perspective 4 years ago, even though obviously his policies then, as they are now, are disastrous. But he still was able to do this 4 years ago. Now today, he's not running on his record. He's not running on a vision for the future. He's running on Mitt Romney's negatives. And by the way, let's be clear here. You have to tell the truth in a campaign. The truth is that Barack Obama, since he came on the political scene in mid-2007, has lowered the dialogue of our political debate. And the reason he's done it is because he has not told the truth. He's lied to the American people constantly, and he's used facts that are convenient for him without telling the full story. Today, that is more true than ever. He's running negative ads against Mitt Romney that are misleading and dishonest. And he's lowering the dialogue and debate. This is one of the most negative campaigns in history. This is the most negative political president since LBJ's complete distortion of Barry Goldwater in 1964. When you had, and radio talk show host and columnist Dennis Prager pointed this out to me recently, the 2000-something psychiatrist who had never met Barry Goldwater and said that he was mentally unstable were a disgrace to the medical profession. I'm almost quoting Mr. Prager for verbatim. But I just want to say that the same thing goes for Team Obama for being dishonest about Mitt Romney's. It's almost as dirty, perhaps not that dirty, but almost as dirty to be attacking Mitt Romney's company unfairly, to not tell the full story. Of course, it's a little bit different in the Goldwater case because that was just complete and utter nonsense. The Obama campaign is also being dishonest, though. It's lowering the dialogue debate. Americans want to have a candidate they can vote for, not a candidate they have to vote against. And unfortunately, 4 years ago, and I hate to say this because John McCain's an American hero, but a lot of conservative Republicans voted for McCain to vote against Obama. And a lot of people who voted for Obama voted for him to vote against McCain because McCain was tied to George Bush, which was also misleading in some ways. Some ways it wasn't. But this campaign is extremely dirty. And to illustrate this, I want to just show an ad that Obama is running, which is completely misleading. Take a listen.
What a president believes matters. Mitt Romney's companies were pioneers in outsourcing U.S. jobs to low-wage countries. He supports tax breaks for companies that ship jobs overseas. President Obama believes in insourcing. He fought to save the U.S. auto industry and favors tax cuts for companies that bring jobs home. Outsourcing versus insourcing. It matters.
I'm Barack Obama, and I approve this message.
Let's make this clear. First of all, Mitt Romney does not support tax cuts for jobs that are sent overseas. Mitt Romney's company net created jobs when he was there, and even after this ad was released, the Obama campaign said, even acknowledged that a lot of the jobs from Bain that were shipped overseas were after Mitt Romney was CEO. They said he was still responsible for it, but that's utter nonsense, and it's another lie by the Obama campaign. It's lowering the dialogue. Mitt Romney supports tax cuts for every single American and for every single business in this country. Now, President Obama talked about tax cuts for companies that bring jobs here 4 years ago. It's something Democrats have been talking about for a long time. They haven't pursued it. They haven't pursued that. They haven't pursued meaningful tax reform that lowers rates and makes us a more attractive place to do business. So President Obama's lying on that. President Obama talking about the auto bailout, that is a fundamental. I think that's actually fair. That President Obama can claim that the auto industry has been saved under his watch. But the question is whether he was responsible for it. And let us remember that President Obama may have saved it wasn't President Obama himself that saved the auto industry. We have to remember it was partly the federal government, but it was primarily the auto industry itself. One thing I identify very much with what Mitt Romney says is the best place to do business is in the private sector. Almost as good, not quite as good, is the state government, local governments. The worst place to run an economy is from the federal government. However, the federal government, this is my saying, and Governor Romney would agree, the federal government can create an environment in which it's attractive to do business. The ad President Obama is running is misleading, and the Romney campaign has a great response ad to all these negative ads by Obama.
Barack Obama's attacks against Mitt Romney, they're just not true. The Washington Post says, on just about every level, this ad is misleading, unfair, and untrue. But that's Barack Obama. He also attacked Hillary Clinton with vicious lies.
He continues to spend millions of dollars perpetuating falsehoods.
Mitt Romney has a plan to get America working. Barack Obama, worst job record since the Depression.
So shame on you, Barack Obama.
The point is, my friends, let's talk about the economy, healthcare, immigration. That's an issue we haven't talked about. Energy, the deficit, national defense, defending our homeland. Let's talk about these issues and stop letting Barack Obama get away with vicious lies. And let's talk about the issues that affect ordinary people. This president has been disastrous for the ordinary person in this country. He's been disastrous for all of us as well. Thank you, and God bless America.